All right, so now what we're going to do is I want to begin the fine-tuning, retouching of her skin and taking out the flaws. And so you can see that her skin is fairly light, and it's sometimes I can see some of the flaws pretty easily, but I've come up with a technique that allows me to exaggerate the flaws temporarily, and then I can really get in there and work my tools and techniques to help pull those out. And so what I've done, which I think is really amazing help, is I'm going to make 2 adjustment layers temporarily that are going to help me do this. So I go up here and I say I want to pick a black and white adjustment layer, and I want to pick a levels adjustment layer. So now I have both these layers above our subject. And now you don't want, if you have a model standing over your shoulder, you don't want to show her this, or a family member or somebody, because what you're going to do is you're going to really bring out the flaws. So as you can see here, this is temporary, okay? And I've pushed that levels to get really, really dark. So now obviously this is not very flattering. And so what this does is this allows me now to see all those flaws, and it allows me to move in there really quickly. So you can see she's got a little scar here and lots of freckles, a couple little issues down on the chin here. So that is exaggerated now by this these 2 little layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by taking and working with the patch tool. We're going to do a global sort of technique that I use. And when I've used the patch tool, when I first started, it was way too much. So here's what I do. I take and I make a duplicate layer, Command J, and I set the opacity to that layer at about 50%. And then I go over here and I get the patch tool. And now, every time I do my patch selection and then I make my adjustment to it, it's going to do it at 50% of the effect. So let's try this. So here's a little section right here. I'm going to circle around it, pick it up, find an area that looks pretty good, and let go. Now you can see that it's taken that out. Now I'm going to do some dodging and burning on that later, but it gives me a good sort of start of getting rid of some of the main problems here that you can see. Now again, we're really exaggerating on these flaws, and here, this is actually probably going to be worked on later with my either a clone or whatever, but here I'm just taking and I'm moving things around just a little bit and doing kind of a global effect. And again, it's not 100% taking out everything, but it gives me a good foundation of sort of to start with. So, and again, I am not locked into this. I can do this again later. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll do a first round of this little patch tool thing, and then later I'll come back to it. So I think that's a good start on the patch. And so what I'll do is I will merge that down. So Command E merges that down. Now let's take a look here, what we've done. You can see that already that's helped a lot. And this is what the normal image is going to look like in terms of value and everything. So that's a good start to the patch tool. So the next thing I do is go back up the row here to the spot healing brush and begin now the process of sort of working out all the little flaws. And this is going to take a little bit more time. But still, this is such a fast way to do it that you probably won't spend more than a couple minutes unless you really want to get in there. For most of the beauty fashion stuff I do, I don't go and overdo this. But you can see here how quickly all these little flaws are coming out. And again, this is the exaggerated mode that I'm in. And so you can see that they're really pretty strong, but they're going to completely disappear. Now, if I didn't have that exaggerated, see how hard it is to see those flaws? And so, yeah, you can see some of these in here, but by going back to this black and white and levels, I can really speed up going through here. So what I do is I make a pass knowing that I'm going to come back. There's some things that I sort of just go and hit the big ones, and then I kind of go over the skin here, get the biggest, take out the biggest issues, and I'm not going to spend all the time here by doing this, but I'm going to show you also how this can also take out the hairs, little wispy hairs that come in the picture here. See how nice that is? Just taking out the hairs. Whoops. We're going to come along here. Here's another hair. Just come along here and take it right out. So this is one of the amazing tools that Photoshop has for us. So let's go back here. We look at that. Looks pretty good. So I also use the stamp tool, and I set the stamp tool at 100% opacity and a 50% flow. And I can, sometimes that the spot healing brush will give you a little bit of a mush effect. It's just like not quite picking up the skin perfectly. So I go to the spot healing brush, and I do the same thing. I'll pick up a section and I'll work around it. But for the most part, I spend my time using the spot healing brush. So let's do this. I'm going to go in here, spend another 2 or 3 minutes taking out all the little flaws there, and then we'll go back to our next section. All right, so now that I've kind of gone through and picked up all these little spots that stand out, we can see that here's our original. It looks pretty good. But I still have a couple little things I want to fix with my patch tool. So I told you that sometimes I start with a patch, work the spot healing brush, then go back. And you can see under her eyes here, I've got a little bit of issues that I can fix really easy with that patch tool. So I go Command J, set my opacity to 50%-ish. Go over to the patch tool. Let's go back to our setting here. And I'm going to pick up, I want to sort of avoid the eyelashes, and just pull that down. Boom. It just takes that right out. Oop, let's make it a little bit bigger. And it just takes out those little sort of party lines. And I'm going to look at anything else. Now that I've sort of cleaned everything up, I can go back over some sections here. Whoops. And just smooth out. Now I'm going to do dodge and burn next. So I don't want to, if I can fix it with dodge and burn, I want to fix it with dodge and burn. I don't want to overuse this patch tool, but it is an amazing technique that we can do here. So I just want to make sure. I'm going to take this highlight out. I could dodge this highlight or burn this down, but this is going to be a little bit easier to do with the patch tool. So that's looking pretty good. Got a big highlight there. Let's pull that up there. A little bit of a dark spot there. So I think at this point I'm ready to go to the dodge and the burn, which is really a critical section. So let's move on from there.